Jerry French has been a blessing to the greater Orangeburg community for many years. And Jerry's stunned right now. While in high school, Jerry had a part-time job after school. A very interesting event occurred when his mother picked him up one day after work. Just a few minutes before, she stopped at Earl Duke's barbecue to pick up some barbecue to take home for supper. And all of us who grew up in Orangeburg years ago, Earl Duke's barbecue had a reputation across the whole state. Everybody loved it. Anyway, she placed the food on the front seat between she and Jerry. And on the way home, Jerry spotted a dead bobcat on the side of the road. It made his mother stop. You see, Jerry's younger brother had recently taken up an interest in taxidermy, and Jerry thought it would be a great idea to stop and pick up this dead bobcat and his brother to get started in taxidermy. Jerry got out and put this dead bobcat in the rear portion of the family station wagon. I think Jerry and his mother may have made a mistake not to consider the amazing revival powers of smelling the aroma of the Earl Duke's barbecue permeating inside of the station wagon. Because after a few miles, Jerry heard the sound of a deep breath coming from the bobcat. Needless to say, Jerry encouraged his mom to significantly speed up so they could get home as fast as they could. Because this bobcat might not be dead as important as he thought. She hurried as fast as she could, but as they screeched into the driveway, the bobcat jumped over the back seat and then went onto the front seat of the car where Jerry and his mother were. His mother slammed the car into the park while jumping out of the car at the same time and ran into the house. She suddenly stopped and yelled back to Jerry, "Just get that good old Earl Duke's barbecue out of the car quick before the bobcat gets it." Jerry, you didn't know about all this tonight, did you?
You tell it better than I do. I've never had my heart beat so fast as it's beating right now. So, I'm in my 70s now, so if I pass out up here, you'll have to come get me. Gene was telling that story. It's a very true story, but he remembers it even better than I do. I don't know where you got all of the details from, but I was feeling for a moment you might leave out the part when my mom yelled, "Get the barbecue, get the barbecue." She was more worried about the barbecue than she was me. And I've got to hurry.
Back of the room?
Yeah, I see that back there. But I see Coach Jeffries. Coach has thrown the yellow flag on me before. So I got to be real careful because he's got his hand. I'll tell you one story that, and Gina, I could say this about many of you here that I do know fairly personally, but I have to say this even in front of my wife, and she knows exactly what I mean when I say it. I love Gina Reynolds to death. And not only her, but many of you who have helped me get where I am today. But I want to speak just a moment, if you will, about the one who really helped me get here. And that is the Lord. You see, when I was 5 years old, or somewhere in that neighborhood, I can't remember whether it was 5 or maybe 6, but no older than that, my dad, who some of you may remember as Pete French in the Orangeburg community, would bring me to First Baptist Church on Middleton Street entrance, what we call a ramp entrance to Middleton Street, to First Baptist Church on Middleton Street, and he would put me out. And he would say, "Boy, get in that church. And if I'm not here to pick you up," we live way out on Charleston Highway, "catch a ride home, or better yet, walk." Now, that was back in the 1950s, okay? So it was probably okay to walk back then because I did a lot of walking around that neighborhood back then, and I never had any harm go my way. But the neat thing of it is, I never had to walk home. The Lord always provided for me a way in those young years to make it. And as time went on, my dad attended First Baptist Church in Orangeburg, and my mom. And so that's a story that I don't get to tell very often, but when I get a chance, I tell that story because at that young age, I never knew that I would be on the 3rd floor of the McLean building, and the teacher at that time was Mr. Smoke, I believe it was, and he worked for the Orangeburg Fire Department. And we could look out the window and see the fire department right down to our left on the other side of Middleton Street, where I guess City Hall is now, I guess. But anyway, he would make sure, "Jerry, I'm not leaving you until somebody comes pick you up." Wouldn't do it. So my wife kept this secret, or however long y'all talk, I had no idea. And Ken, I owe you one. Ken made up this wonderful story. It wasn't a made up story, but it was made up to me now about the Tourvilles and the Coxes. And I don't know the Tourville family. I know the Cox family not as well as maybe some of you do, but I've known them for years and years and years. And I've loved Mr. Bill Cox. And I'm sorry I didn't get to know Mr. Frank for all that he did for the community. I can't even say I don't even know what it means to be involved and be associated with these folks. It's amazing to think that a young, uneducated, really, young fella from out on the Charleston Highway in Orangeburg community could ever be a recipient of anything like this. So all I can really say is thank you. You are now an inspiration for what I'll do from this day moving forward. Because as I look out and see you, and I see my family who I had no idea. None. I sat here and had no idea that they were in that back table there. And I thought I had come around and spoken to most of you here.
They went to Jim and we brought them in right before it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I will say God bless you. If it weren't for the Lord Jesus Christ in my life, and I know that we walk many different avenues, we do. But we are all loved by the one who loves us more than we could ever love each other.
Amen.
And I would thank you for that recognition tonight. God bless you. Thank you very much.